So today I was thinking about leaving my thoughts here on the resignation of the New York City Department of Education's Chancellor, Richard Carranza, and what I think about what may have transpired in spite of what he's been saying, which is that he is leaving his post because he needs time to grieve his 11 close family members and friends who have passed away from COVID in the past year. And the reason why I thought maybe I will give you my 2 cents on the situation is because there are some rumors. I read this article in the New York Times that it's been said that there's been some disagreements between Chancellor Carranza and the New York City Mayor, Bill de Blasio. And I am not going to take any sides on this because simply I just don't know what exactly may have transpired between the two of them, but I can tell you a couple of things. One, even though I'm sure this is true that the Chancellor Carranza has lost friends and family members to COVID in the past few months and that he needs time to grieve, I'm also pretty sure that there is more to the story. So um, I believe the reporting that says that there was disagreement or um, it's just come to a head between Chancellor Carranza and Mayor Bill de Blasio, and it was time to part ways. And why am I saying this? Because when I was in the New York City Department of Education, just remember, I left my post in June of 2019. The last year or so, I worked for the policies that they're saying there was some disagreement about between the two parties. And these policies are the desegregation policies that um, started out, I guess they were carried out, a part of it at least, by the previous chancellor, but Chancellor Carranza was really spearheaded this movement to trying to segregate the New York City public school system. So let me just start by saying that one of the things that we've been told, at least when I was working at the New York City Department of Education, was that, and this is true, the New York City Department of Education is the largest educational system in the United States. This is 100% true. It serves an incredible amount of students. There's so many teachers, employees, also a huge bureaucracy that comes with it, which of course Chancellor Carranza claims um, to have moved against implementing that huge bureaucracy or like growing that bureaucracy. Although I can tell you, as I was part of the bureaucracy itself, that that's not entirely true. It may look like it's true on the outside, but it is not entirely true on the inside. And I can give you more information about that. But I can say this, that he really tried to spearhead the movement of desegregation in the public school system in New York City. And what that looked like, it looked differently from district to district. It did involve enrollment, of course, and I'm sure I mentioned this before, but I was part of um, New York, the enrollment office, the Office for Student Enrollment, and so this particular office also was involved with part of the segregation plans. And for obvious reasons, of course. Because if we're going to desegregate the schools, then enrollment should be part of the process, right? Okay, so I'm going to tell you really briefly what it felt like for me when I was on the inside, okay? And just know this is also a big reason, a huge reason why I left the public school system in New York City. So this, again, I'm not taking one side or another because I just don't know what's transpired in between the two parties. But I'm going to tell you what it felt like for me. A little background on me. I know some of you already know this, but I am Hispanic. My first language is Spanish. I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And when I was already working for the Office of Student Enrollment for a number of months when I was recruited internally by the head of the Office of Student Enrollment and someone that was right under her, who was basically my boss. I was recruited to head or to be the enrollment connection at a family resource center in one of the districts that had done a lot of work in terms of trying to desegregate its schools. And when I say the district had done a lot of work, I mean the parents were very, very, very involved. The parents, I mean, I don't even have a way to describe how much work the parents had put into um, trying to desegregate the schools in their district and to better the education for all of their children, for all the children that were part of this district. And I remember, thinking back, before I was even asked to join this project from the Office of Student Enrollment, not from the parents, not from the district itself, but from the bureaucracy of the Office of Student Enrollment. But like maybe a couple months before that happened, I I was talking to someone who had been asked a similar question. She worked for a department, and I'm not going to give too many details because I don't think this person will want to be identified. But she said that she was also Hispanic. Again, I'm not going to give too many details as to who she was or her background because I don't want this person to be identified. But we were talking, and she was telling me that she felt basically that she was being brought into these various committees and these various conversations as I'm gonna hate to say this, but the token Hispanic, because she none of what she had to say or none of her ideas she would ever see to fruition. It was basically like, well, the head of enrollment and other people, the big part of the bureaucracy, they were telling her, or or they were just saying what they were going to do to desegregate the schools without any of her input even making it to the final round, and without any input from the community, really. She felt that it was all a farce and that she was just there for show, and that it was just something that they needed to do, and they spoke as if they were the big advocates for the community and for children of color, for Hispanic children, for everyone, for all the children that they were serving. But in reality, she felt the only interest they were serving was their own. And I wish I had remembered what she said by the time I said yes to to be part of this project, because I would live it for months on end. I was there for about a year and a half before I left. About a year before I resigned. About a year and a half before I resigned. Um, I wish I would have remembered what she said, but I was so happy to be part of the change, to be part of moving forward, to be part of bettering our children's education and bettering our schools for everyone, that I said yes, completely believing that my voice was going to have an impact in people's lives. And if you know anything about me, if you've been following me, you know that I'm about making an impact and making a difference in people's lives. You know that I work tirelessly and for nothing sometimes, just to make sure that their families are treated the way I want my own family to be treated. I would not give anyone any less. So I was naive, I think, thinking that the people who were recruiting me really had the same interest um, at heart that I did. I was pretty naive in thinking that. And of course, as time went by, I realized that the I realized pretty quickly, but I tried to look at every side of the issue, of course. And so when the bureaucracy kept telling me, well, this is the way the parents want to do it, but we're just going to do it this way because it would never work this way. And no, this is how the parents want to do it, and they even, mind you, the parents had months of research and tons of research they had done. They had even invested money in doing things the right way. Again, to better their schools, to better the education for their children. And no, we're just gonna do it this way. We're gonna do it this way because we're the Department of Education, and we just can't do that. It wouldn't go by the reform, and we talked about the reform before. Of course it would. Um, if they were really into the reform, it would have worked with the reform. Um, but we can't do this or we can't do that. But little by little, I realized that everything the parents that worked so hard to put forward, they were minimizing and delegating to not second or third place, to like the complete back burner, because they had no interest in doing this for the parents or doing this to really better the education for the children as the parents, as the community itself saw fit. And what they wanted to do was to show that they were doing something, that they were working to desegregate the schools. And in the end, it really didn't work. I, as the time went by, started to see very clearly how our because I'm part of the community, because I became ingrained in the community, and I had staff that were from the community, we it was kind of like doing ethnographic research every day. We were in the trenches every day. We saw people that were suffering from all that this wasn't doing. So every time we try to give people a voice and give families a voice, and every time the more we sided with the families, the more that we understood where the community was coming from, and the more that we wanted to represent the community, the more we were shut down, the more we were told, your way is not going to work, our way will. And do you want to take a guess as to what community was imposing upon which other community? I'm not going to tell you, but I'm sure you pretty much can guess that, right? I am just going to say that the top echelons of the DOE, and I want to say the DOE, when I say the DOE is the Department of Education, I'm not going to put the Chancellor here because I didn't have any personal communication with the Chancellor, even though I tried, even though I did try. So Chancellor Carranza, if you're watching this, get in touch with me. But there were people at the top, including those people who had recruited me to do this project, that they thought that I was going to be their little lab rat, and I was going to do what they told me to do, and they were going to dangle a raise or a position in front of me, because I was told, do this, and within a year you'll be a director. They were going to do raise my salary. That's a promise, she said. Do this. But what I didn't know at the time was, do this my way, and you're going to be a director. Side with the parents, side with the district, side with the community, and you'll be shunned, and we will launch a smear campaign against you, and we will make it so difficult for you to work there that you will resign. I was bullied, and I've talked about this before, but I was bullied, and I resigned. And as I said before, today I'm thankful because I can record this video for you guys. So I'm thankful for that. When I was there, I couldn't do it. And when I did it, I can't even begin to tell you the kinds of bullying that I was subjected to. But here I am. So when I read about this in the New York Times, I know for a fact there's more to the story. Again, I'm not picking sides here. I'm just saying, you know, I always say I was bullied out of the job and I left it. I never, and I said it was because of many other things, you know, one of the reasons being the reform, which was part of this, obviously. And I can go into so much detail even here, but I won't. Just suffice it to say that there is a layer at the DOE that's super protected that dictates everything that happens. And no matter what the community says, and no matter how many people side with the community, those people will be shunned out of existence. I can tell you, I resigned and I had 3 staff members, all 3 of them left as well. They were members of the community, and I felt like an honorary member of the community because I work really closely with them. And I can't stress that enough, that there are people in the Department of Education, the New York City Department of Education, who are at the top, and they will dictate everything that happens, no matter what the community says. Okay? So I'll leave you with that, and any questions or concerns, please, you can ask me here. I will also post this in my private group, and I will drop a link here in case you want to join me there and you want to talk about this privately. But yes, there's more to this story. So much more. I wish the incoming Chancellor the best of luck with this. And Misha Porter, if you want to talk to me, I'm all ears. So, and I can tell you everything that went on. I'll talk to you guys soon, and you have a wonderful weekend. Bye.